Yo, it is President Chad, and in the house with me is the Manchester City supporter, Martin Phillip, and we are here talking about the Manchester Derby, which is tomorrow. It is 7:30 Trinidad time. Well, I shouldn't say Trinidad time, Western time, because Martin, you up there in New York, and I believe it is going to be 7:30. Not 9 o'clock. Your
Nine
time
o'clock,
as well.
9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, not 7:30.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is the time for the game. So let's jump straight into it. We had a lengthy discussion on the United Hour talking about how to stop the man Haaland, right? If you haven't checked that video out, check it out. How to stop Haaland. And we had some nice suggestions. But as Ten Hag said when questioned during the press conference about how to stop Haaland, he said, Haaland is one player. It's not just about Haaland, it's about the team. Right? So obviously, City is a very difficult team to knuckle down. City is a very difficult team to prevent from scoring. They have so many weapons. And we're looking at it today, not so much from a technical view, but more from a fan view. So heading into the derby, as a City supporter, how are you feeling? I would assume you're feeling very confident having the likes of De Bruyne and Haaland on fire in your team right now.
Okay, first thing, let me say good afternoon to all the people out there who are looking at us and all of the people out here who will be looking at us in the future.
Nigel, good afternoon.
So thanks. Let me start off. As a fan, once your team winning, you're a happy person. Even if you're seeing where things could improve, to you it really doesn't matter. Once the team is winning. And right now, I mean, if you're a Manchester City supporter and you're not happy, then maybe you don't know what true happiness is, because it's not supposed to be a happy time. Everything going our way, except that one draw we had, So I'm very happy. The team is playing good enough. A lot of people are questioning the back line, but let them continue questioning. Once we keep on winning, question, it really doesn't matter.
Let's talk a little, as you talk about the back line, let's talk a little news. As far as Manchester City goes, what are the updates as far as injuries that you're aware of?
Well, the only person I know that was on two persons on the injured list and could play tomorrow is Walker and Akil, right?
What about Stones? I heard Stones was injured as well.
Was Stone injured? Stone came back from the England. Stone didn't finish the whole English game. Stone came off the field injured, and Pep was mad because Pep told them that could happen, and it happened.
Yeah.
You understand? And I mean, I could understand where Pep going, because if you're really trying to preserve your players, now I'm not talking about Manchester City. I'm talking about England. And this guy is supposed to be one of your better players in the back line. He's injury prone. He's injury prone. Why every game you would just throw him into the fry like that? Then maybe you want him to stay in England for the World Cup. I mean, I don't know. And it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter to me, because I don't like England. Right? But I like the players that we have that are English. I don't have a problem with them. But as a team, I do back England in nothing. No sport whatsoever. I do back England. I find in years gone by, they have done some things that I don't like, and I still don't like them for that. But go ahead. That has nothing to do with football.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of question marks around Southgate and his management of the English national team. I was personally very glad that Jadon Sancho didn't get called up, and that Ten Hag called Southgate and spoke to him, and he didn't call up Rashford. And well, Rashford was injured as well, so I don't think he would have gone. But I was glad because, Harry and Shaw need some exercise, because right now they're just warming bench at United, so I didn't mind them fellas going.
But quick question. Don't forget your train of thought. Harry injured or not?
Coming out of the press conference, I believe Harry does have a little injury.
Oh, okay. So go ahead with your original
thought. So talking about United injuries, there is a big question mark around Martial and Rashford. Both of them trained, but this is the first time Martial, for example, would have trained with the team since he picked up his last injury. So there's obviously a big question mark of whether he'll be match fit, and Rashford whether he'll be able to start from the beginning. So we have two people that may be fit enough to come off the bench, but may not necessarily be fit to start, which is a real problem for Manchester United, because I don't think this is the kind of game that suits Cristiano Ronaldo. So I really don't know what Ten Hag is going to do, but we're going to talk about team selections in a little bit. So yeah, you were saying that you were feeling confident, and what is your prediction before we start to talk about team selection and stuff? How you expect the game to go?
I told you all before, and I'm going to say it again. I expect we to score 3 goals and you to score 1. I don't care whether all you score your goal first or all you score your goal last. I expect you all to score 1, and I expect us to score 2.
And you expect Haaland to be on the score sheet?
It will be difficult for him not to be, but he have, since the season start, he haven't scored in a game. So it is possible, but I expect him to be on the sheet.
All right. So you all hear that. We're going to be reminding Martin Phillip about this statements here. 3-1 is his prediction.
Yeah.
City to beat United. My prediction is a 2-2 draw, and I don't expect Haaland to score. I think we're going to shut that down. But there's just so many weapons in City. I can't envision us keeping a clean sheet. But I do think that we are going to get a draw. Now, Pep made some very interesting statements when asked about Ten Hag this week. Pep said that he wanted Ten Hag to replace him at City, but Ten Hag chose United. Now, the way he put the statement, it suggested to me that he had a conversation with Ten Hag. It didn't come across like it was in my mind. It's something I wanted, but I never really talked to the man about it. When you say the man choose to go United, that tells me that you let him know, I would like you to come here after when I leave, right? What do you think about those statements? Because he also said that Ten Hag's style of football at Ajax is very similar to his style of football. And well, everybody knows that they work together at Bayern Munich, and that Ten Hag style indeed. And I don't just mean stylistically, I mean even statistically. I was looking at a breakdown between Ten Hag's Ajax and Manchester City under Pep, and their possession stats are very similar. Their styles of play, the way they progress the ball, it was unbelievably similar. And the interesting thing is that Ten Hag was achieving the success at Ajax and reaching the semifinals and beating big teams in Champions League, and doing that with a team that clearly doesn't have the talent that City has, right? But he was getting the results playing a similar style of football. So, as a City supporter, would you have liked to see Ten Hag come to City after Pep leaves, or you're not interested in seeing Pep go anywhere? You want Pep to get old and grey at Manchester City?
I hope, first let me start with this. I hope that they could tie down Pep, not for 2 years, but for another 3 years. And at the end of that, if he chooses to go, give him a nice sending off. However they choose to do it, I don't know, right? And send him off. But I'm hoping that he doesn't leave when he's due. So I'm hoping that the time down to another, as I say, 3 years, not necessarily 2, 3 years. And then if he chooses to go, he can go. Now, coming up to the Ten Hag, one of the things that I look at, and is the only thing I think is vastly different between Ten Hag and Pep, is that Ten Hag have a greater emphasis on youth than Pep does. Other than that, Ten Hag have, since his days with Pep at Bayern, it seems as though what Ten Hag was doing before that may have changed some to what he's doing since that and after that. So somewhere along the line, working with Pep would have rubbed him in the right direction. And there is great things to come from this coach.
Now, for me, I consider that a benefit because when you understand technically the details of the person you're playing against, intimately, you understand the way they think. Because it's not just a matter of watching the person's football. Ten Hag and Pep would have had conversations about football,
Of
right?
course.
They would have shared ideas. So you're talking about two people who understand how the other person's think as far as, and then it'll be easier now as a technical coach to look for vulnerabilities. The only unfortunate thing is the tools. We have a Manchester City that may be a little short at the back, maybe a little short defensively. But other than that, the team is ready to go. And you have a Manchester United that is definitely short up front. So even if Ten Hag figures out how to attack Pep effectively, it's going to be a difficult thing to do when you don't have all your tools. But you have to play with the players you have, and at the end of the day, nobody interested in excuses.
That that that
So go
no,
ahead.
that is true. But I was going to say, right? It would take. I know Manchester United want to win everything this year and maybe next year, but no, it don't happen like that in the game that we love, right? It takes time, especially when you're building a team. And for United, you're not just building from the ground up. You're literally, as the saying goes, looking to rebuild a classic structure by demolishing certain parts of the structure. So it will even take longer because
That
you
is
have to
very
get
true.
some people out of the window and bring in a set who you want to start as a job to take off running. Some of them would and some of them will not. So you may have to replace those that just didn't come up to the thing. And it would take some time. So you all would make some hefty purchases because it seems as though anybody who wants to go to Manchester United or Manchester City, all of a sudden, if it was 12 million and going to 24 million and 30 million and just keep on going up. So we always spend some money on some people that just didn't come up to the mark and get all the fans mad. But it's something that they are accustomed to, right? But he have some pieces still to buy to put into this chess puzzle and get it right.
That
You
is
know,
very true. That is very, very true. To me, the biggest test for Ten Hag is not specifically this game. Regardless of the outcome of this game, a win would be a big feather in his cap. A draw would still be an achievement. And I think a loss would be expected. Even among United supporters, a draw would be expected. But the biggest challenge is navigating October, those 9 games in
well,
29 days. I think if at the end of October, playing City, playing Spurs, playing Chelsea, we still close to the top there and thereabouts, I would tell myself, yeah, he definitely, trending in the right direction.
the thing
So,
about
go ahead.
no, what I'm gonna say, the thing about October is that I don't think it have one team in the Premier League, no matter who they're looking at to play. Love this month right now. None. They don't have none.
Well,
And the
yeah, the
reason,
teams the teams are not playing in the middle of the week. The teams are not playing any European football.
yeah, the teams that
They
are playing in the middle of the week, they still don't like it simply
and then
because
we
they
have
might
to
find
remember
themselves
we
being
have to
thrown
remember
in.
the likes of Crystal Palace, the likes of Brighton that held Liverpool this morning to a draw. There are teams that are actually performing unbelievably well right now. Teams that you don't really expect to be up in the top 10, mixing it up. The Newcastle. There are teams that are not playing in the middle of the week and performing well. So their players are going to be more rested and they're performing well, right? And then
Yeah,
you have the big teams who have to play these extra games and not necessarily, I was surprised to see Spurs lose today, but we're going to talk more about that on the EPL Rewind after all the games conclude on Monday evening. But you have Liverpool looking like a wounded animal. So it really, the Premier League nice, the thing nice, and the big teams have these struggles, more struggles than the smaller ones.
That is why they have this thing called team depth. Now people say, "Oh, you're buying all these players and having them sit on the bench," and yeah, that is when you don't understand what it is going on in the Premier League. Because if you understand, that statement would not be for you. That statement would be for somebody else who doesn't understand what is going on. They just come and they look at the game and they say, "Oh, my team win," and they go on the way. Here, if you really understand what it is going on in the Premier League, you would understand that squad depth means something. It's not just European football you have to play. It's not just the league, right? You have FA Cup, then you have whatsoever cup they choose to throw it there, because it's at least about 2 or 3 trophies you just play for a year just in the England in England.
Correct is right. Correct is right. So let's jump into some. You are the home. Manchester City is playing at home. So I'll let you go first. What is your expected 11, starting 11 tomorrow, please, go.
Well, all right. There's something that I give. So Ederson, he's the goalkeeper. I expect to see Walker playing, Diaz, Akanji, that's the guy, one of the new defenders they bought, and Cancelo. So first I should say I expect
what happened to Laporte?
Huh? Laporte is still, let me tell you, Laporte is in my book is still, I think even if he's training with the squad, which I'm not absolutely sure, even if he's training with the squad, I don't think he is match ready. So there's no way.
So you're looking at Diaz and Akanji. Go ahead.
Yes, there's no way Pep going to put him out there. De Bruyne, Rodri, and for me, I would let Silva play first, right? And if Silva ain't come up to match, then I would change him and put on Gundogan.
Okay, so that's in midfield.
Yes. Then you have Foden, Haaland, and sad to say, but Pep seems to love him, Grealish.
So you're starting Mahrez on the bench as well?
Yeah. I'll be very honest with you. Mahrez, the games I've seen Mahrez play, he's not like the old Mahrez. But that doesn't mean to say he doesn't have the same the magic in him, because he could just come out there. I don't know. Sometimes he plays very good against Liverpool. Sometimes you don't know whether he's on the field. Him against Liverpool, sorry, wrong team. Against Manchester United, he played very good, right? Sometimes again, you don't know if he's on the field. I believe he will play tomorrow in some capacity, but I don't think he will start tomorrow. I think Pep Blue Eye Boy Grealish is going to be there. Now, I personally, as a Manchester City supporter, telling you straight up, do I like Grealish playing on my team? The answer is no. But Grealish is there, and I have to say that I have to support the fact that he's there. So I'm hoping that Grealish does something not Grealish-like, simply because that will mean falling down on the ground a lot. But out of that, come out there and really show us that magic you had at Villa. Just if even if for a brief 20 minutes, because in that case, it's either somebody's going to score a goal or he's going to score one. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Nice 11. I know you missed out Cancelo, but that's a give.
No. Cancelo was at the back. I think I called Cancelo name after you asked me about Akanji, because if I leave out Cancelo, then I'll be a man short right about now.
No. That's what I meant.
Okay.
So it definitely is part of the 11. So my starting 11. Now I normally with these shows we like to settle on one starting 11,
Mm-hmm.
But I think we may there are 2 options I see Ten Hag going with. Firstly, let's deal with what is standard. The standard is the backline. Mm-hmm. David De Gea, Malacia, Varane, Martinez, and Dalot. I expect, even though Scott McTominay had a little knock, I expect Scott McTominay to start. I expect Eriksen to start. I expect Bruno Fernandes to start. The challenge is whether we're going to play a 4-2-3-1 with Eriksen and Scott McTominay, or whether we're going to play a 4-2-3-1 with Scott McTominay and Casemiro. So let me call out that option first. If we play Scott and Casemiro as the two holding midfielders, right? Because we need it, we need extra support, extra steel in that midfield to deal with City. Then you're going to play Bruno Fernandes as a false nine. So he's actually going to be in front. And then you're going to push Eriksen up into the 10. So you're talking Casemiro, Scott McTominay, and then you may have Anthony. I also expect is a given regardless of what we do. He is going to start. And then you're going to have Sancho. So you're looking at Anthony, Sancho, Bruno Fernandes on top, Eriksen in the 10, Casemiro and Scott, and the back four and David De Gea in goal. The other option is to play pretty much the team that he has been playing in the Premier League. If Rashford can't start, then you will probably have to push either Anthony or Sancho and play Langa. Right? So I either see Casemiro and Scott McTominay, or what has been happening so far, which is Scott and Eriksen. But I expect Scott to play, I expect Eriksen to play, I expect Bruno Fernandes to play, I expect to see Sancho, I expect to see Anthony and the back four. It's just a question of how he arranges that set. Who would I like to see? I would like to see us go with what we've been playing with all the time. Play Scott McTominay, trust him. Play Eriksen, trust him, and let's go. The only concern would be the front three, but throw Anthony Elanga in the front. Let his pace at least keep the back line of City honest. And that's it. They really had to deal with hoping for the best because we don't have the best available. One person I would not start regardless of the situation is Cristiano Ronaldo. Maybe off the bench, but definitely not at the start of the game. So that is what I am looking at. And as I said, my prediction is 2-2. Your prediction is 3-1 win for City. Any final words?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What is the position with Rashford? I heard you said something earlier about Rashford and Martial. But what really is, when I say, what I mean is, have Rashford trained with the team over any period of time, or is it that he just trained like once?
The first training he had with the team was yesterday.
Oh, because I was telling you straight up that I expect if Rashford was anyway close to what we would term match fitness to play. Simply because
I expect Rashford to play as well, but
I talk about the starting.
I know. I expect Rashford to start once he's capable, but working under the assumption that he's not, that is why I listed that team. But I also expect Rashford to start. The same team that played Arsenal is the same team I expect to see start tomorrow, please God. As I said, there is the option to throw Casemiro in if Rashford is not available. Throw up Bruno Fernandes in a false 9, push up Eriksen in the 10. There is that option. But the teams I listed are because, we're working with the assumption that Rashford may not be ready. Well, but these are the kind of games that you would love Marcus Rashford to be available for, because these are the kind of games Marcus Rashford shines in.
I honestly believe that Rashford playing for y'all for 10 minutes, better he just sit down, because that's wasting Rashford time, right? I looking at Rashford to start the game, and if he doesn't appear to be what the coach expects of him, then all right, you can put him to sit down for the next 45 minutes.
You could take him off.
Yeah.
The most perfect scenario for me is Rashford starting and Martial coming off the bench for him. I think that would be ideal.
And you're right, but
the likelihood of that is kind of small. So we could.
I will tell you something. I am a coach. Let me say, I am Ten Hag. I think Martial won't play tomorrow at all, because Martial looked like, what they call a recurring decimal. He injury prone really bad.
This season, he has become that way.
Yeah, if it is that I'm going to play you for a short period of time, for you to sit down for 3, 4, 5 matches, no. But I ain't play at all. You could get mad, you could be upset, and then I have
for the rest of the
luxury of playing you for a few games going down the road. Because nobody's going to run on that field tomorrow, partially injured or otherwise, and don't give the all.
Yeah, everybody fighting, both teams. Right.
And the possibility greatly exists that you could get re-injured, and it happens to him too easy, man. Too easy. So and to me, he wasn't starting out. He wasn't playing at all. And I know Rashford just loved to play against Manchester City. Loved to play against Manchester City. So why not throw him in the fry, man? I mean, I don't want him to get injured. I don't believe, this whole thing, playing a player and he's not 100%, or playing a player knowing pretty well somebody will look to kick him down, and you go play him anyway. If somebody want to kick him down, they'll kick him down. It doesn't really matter. But, you're not 100% at least match worthy. You shouldn't play. You really shouldn't play.
Agreed. Martin, appreciate very much you coming on to the United Hour for the Manchester City versus Manchester United preview. Remember, we are going to be at 63 Lounge in the morning, 9 a.m. for the game. We will be broadcasting our, match reaction from that location. And then tomorrow, please God, we also have Old Talk United from 3. Let's hope we have a reason to be celebrating and a reason for Martin Phillip to be crying.
Well,
so remember,
the truth be told, somebody in Manchester would be celebrating except the team draw.
I mean, if we draw, I know we'll be celebrating. I don't think you might, but I know we will be celebrating. A win or a draw. We have 2 results that will make us happy, especially the fact that Liverpool lost today. Even if we lose tomorrow, we will still be ahead of Liverpool in the standings. So we are very, very, very happy as it is right about now. You understand? So remember, folks.
Liverpool draw, they didn't lose. They draw.
Yeah, but they still be lowest in the standings.
So I know that.
If we lose, we will still be above
them. Yes, right.
And I mean, it may sound petty, but these things matter. You know what I mean? These things matter. So remember, folks, Red Devils don't die. They multiply. Like, subscribe, share. Enjoy your weekend.
Hey, if you appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow this community.